Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you're all doing well. And today, my friends, we're back with a Dwarf versus Beastmen showdown. So it's time to settle some grudges. It's going to be Thorgrim himself facing off against, I believe, Morkur the Pimpclaw over here. Yes, it is going to be Morkur. Now, as far as the build goes in the front line, we are going to be going with standard Longbeards. Now, yes, Longbeards, of course, won't trade super effectively against the Bestigors, but I do kind of like them as more of a generalist unit. I find that they're obviously more durable than the Great Weapon Longbeards with their 48 melee defense here, and oftentimes Beastmen do have a ton of chaff also. So Harpies and Ungors and Centaurs and various other pieces, and also Chariots as well. So having the extra durability on the Longbeards is quite good. And to deal with the Bestigors, I have a Flame Cannon. So basically I'm checking my boxes, right? Like you need something to kill the Bestigors, and in this case, the Flame Cannon and my characters. So Thorgrim, a Thane, plus Felix, that's a lot of stopping power, a fair amount of armor piercing on Felix as well. So you can basically just sit the three of them on a Bestigor unit, and over the course of like 30 seconds to a minute, they'll probably be able to wipe out that unit. So we got the Flame Cannon Longbeards, double Iron Drake with the Trollhammer Torpedo. The reason why we have the Iron Drakes with the Trollhammers is basically to deal with Razorgore Chariots and Minotaurs and other monstrous threats. Backfield's going to be double Slayers. We got Miners, some with blasting charges, some without, and that is pretty much it. So for my opponent here, the Army of Butcher Bird, it's going to be Ungors. Really nice pick here of the Harpies. Pretty much anytime you play against Dwarfs as Beastmen, you need to bring at least two Harpies. Because if they go Gyrocopter spam like Pentagyro and you don't have any Harpies, you basically just lose the game. So you always need to bring a couple Harpies just to kind of keep them honest. In worst case, Harpies actually aren't bad against Dowie. They are infantry sized, so you can actually use them to attack Slayers, and Slayers don't kill them super quickly because Harpies have deceivingly high melee defense at 38. And yeah, they're annoying. You can tie down missiles, you can tie down Iron Drakes. Really good utility in this matchup. Aside from that, it's going to be Ungor, a very classic line of Bestigors against Dwarves, always a good thing. Ungor Raiders are also a very good choice against Slayers. And the one thing the army is missing, of course, is probably mass to penetrate in. It does have Centaurs with great weapons in lieu of using Razorgores and Chariots, and Razorgore herds and Chariots are probably a little bit more common, but you know, great weapon Centaurs do pack a punch if they can get good engagements. They're just very much a glass cannon, much easier for Dwarves to deal with than the Razorgore Chariots in my humble opinion here. So this round is soon to be underway. The dreaded Beastmen herd advancing on the Dwarven position. The Iron Drakes are going to be getting ready to shoot here at the Harpies as we reposition ourselves, and the Flame Cannon is going to be blasting away here at the Bestigors, if I'm not mistaken. A little bit late to shooting, but it has pretty short range, so I wasn't able to shoot quite yet. Oh, the Flame Cannon! Oh, look at that! It actually tore through the Harpies! Oh my god, I did not know how I killed so many Harpies in the game because I was looking at something else. Oh, that explains so much. So the Harpies just got absolutely shreked by that Flame Cannon, and now it's going to continue shooting in. The first target is going to be the Bestigor herds. It does take out a couple on the flank, a little bit of a limp shot, but once it does actually connect, that bad boy will do some serious work. As expected, the chaff of the Beastmen being sent in first, blasting charges being used on the Ungors in the flanks, and it looks like there's going to be a purple sun in the back. But first, another Flame Cannon shot doing some pretty good damage, and no, that is a Pit of Shades. So he was trying to catch my Dragonback Slayers, which were standing there, but thankfully we did move out of the way. And Trollhammer Torpedoes bombing over the top of the ranks as the brave Longbeards of the Dowie Empire hold firm. Now the Bestigors are going to be getting into combat, but since there are Ungors in front of them, they won't quite get the best engagements. Many of them are going to be kind of tar-pitted and awkward, and you can see they're already at half health. So just like we talked about earlier, one unit of Bestigors has been softened by the Flame Cannon, therefore giving Longbeards an easy win in that fight. Over here we do have the characters. So we have Thorgrim, we have the Thane, and we do also have Felix Jaeger in here with his great weapon. Going to be cleaving into some of these filthy cows and getting some good work done for sure. The Oath of Vengeance used. And Trollhammers don't really have good targets, so we're basically just shooting at Bestigors, which is good. And you can see once we push back the Bestigors, it's important for Dwarves to kind of maintain formation and hold their position, so we pull back the Longbeards, and now we're going to be reforming ranks. Harpy Disruption is coming in, and my opponent found a really nice opening, so very good control on my opponent's part here, getting the Bestigors into the squishier parts of the army. I do peel back my characters. Thorgrim and company will be intercepting the Bestigors, and the Slayers are also going to be jumping in, because I can't have them shutting down my Flame Cannon, which so far this game has been doing some very devastating damage. Really nice Raider play, though. Raiders are just teeing off into my Dragonback Slayers. Not a whole lot I can do about that, and a really, really nice Beastmen charge here. So the Centaurs with great weapons do collapse into the back of my poor Dwarven chaff units, and you know, somebody's got to take a beating for the Ancestor Gods, and it's going to be these Dwarven Miners with blasting charges here. So he pulls back at this point. Flame Cannon still very much operational. The Ungor Raider Corps has done some devastating damage against Dragonback Slayers, and it looks like Morkur has kind of blown his load with the Chaos Spawn Summon. So they will be fighting in the backfield, but I do have Felix, like I said, the Thane, and Thorgrim, all of which kind of are setting their sights here on the Cowmaster. And the Flame Cannon, now I saw the threat of the Rangers coming in, or the Raiders, I should say. So I do switch the Flame Cannon onto them. I'm going to be trying my best to just polish off these range units We do also have some Longbeards and Dwarven units moving forward. You can see the Longbeards were able to defeat the Bestigors, just like we talked about, after a little bit of softening up. So basically, those Longbeards fought off not only an Ungor Chaff unit, but also a Bestigor over the course of the battle. Flame Cannon still doing massive damage against those routing Bestigor herds. And now, yeah, the character squad of the Dwarves very strong. I mean, Thorgrim is already incredibly tough to kill. 125 armor, 500 weapon strength, 60 melee defense. But when you add in Felix, who provides healing to him, so Felix Jaeger, the character here, does have an aura. So basically, not aura, but a condition. When he's attacking, he heals nearby allies. So yeah, very powerful for keeping this little goon squad alive. And I like the goon squad against Beastmen because it's very nice for dealing with like Morkur and like those type of really durable characters. Now, a little bit of a scary position that could get the Beastmen back in the game. He does get these Centaurs around the back, jumps on top of the Flame Cannon. Harpy's coming down as well, but the Iron Drakes with the Trollhammer torpedoes are rotating about, trying to get some shots downtown. But yeah, those great ones for the most part did juke out my Slayers. So I did overchase with some Slayers, which was a little bit of a mistake, but not the end of the world. Flame Cannon is potentially going to go down, but man, Dwarven leadership is so good, as another Flame Cannon shot does rip in the Dwarven front line, engaging once again with the Bestigors. And at this point, you know, the minor infantry do have good AP, so they might be able to finish off the Bestigors. Let's see, 19 leadership. Oh yeah, 67. There's a ton of these guys here, backed up by Longbeards, the old grumbling veterans of the Dowie Empire, and now these Longbeards as well, fighting insurmountable numbers of Beastmen here. But it's good, they're holding them in place. Morkur the Shadowglaive kind of struggling to get away, being beaten down by Thorgrim here. But Thorgrim doesn't do a ton of damage against Old Pimpclaw, because Morkur does actually have a really good magic resist at 25%, so Thorgrim does get nullified there a little bit. But with Felix plus the Thane, it's going to add up, and there's going to be a lot of problems. And yes, the Chaos Spawn were summoned, but the Iron Drake Trollhammer torpedoes, ripping some massive shots in here, should be able to take out the old spawn of Chaos. And in conjunction with Thorgrim, he's all about smashing Chaos. He hates that shit. And that looks like it's going to be it for the Beastmen, as Morkur is buckled off. The Bestigor herds are also broken and running for the hills, and that is going to be GG well played. So I definitely liked the Flame Cannon. I felt like it was pretty damn good this game. A couple spawn to clean up, but for the most part, the Beastmen army is gone. So, Thorgrim, decent value. I mean, the character squad worked on some Bestigors. The Iron Drakes did okay, considering there wasn't really that many good targets for them. Granted, they still can shoot Bestigors. Flame Cannon up to 2,000 value. Beautiful stuff there. And yeah, it was a nice little army. I liked it. The Flame Cannon, pretty good dual purpose against infantry as well as missile pieces. I was just happy to see no chariots. Granted, I did feel like we were prepared with Iron Drakes, but, you know, chariots are always another factor that's pretty tough. And for the Bird's army, the Butcher Bird here, I did like elements of the army for sure. Bestigors, Raiders, Harpies, that's all good. I'm just not a huge fan of Centaurs with great weapons in this matchup. Although they are pretty damn mobile, but I feel like for a lower price point, you can get Razorgore herds, and you can also get Razorgore chariots, which can do some pretty devastating work. But I think the army was fine. The magic, Pit of Shades, probably not the way. I think if he had been using pendulums instead, I would have taken way more damage. Like, good pendulum usage on my Longbeards could have actually allowed him to get into my back line from the front, which would have been good. But yeah, I do like the army. It's functional. His army certainly could have won with some, slightly better engagements. But yeah, generally, I think using pendulum instead of Pit of Shades. Although Pit of Shades can be good, but it's not like a purple sun that's just going to annihilate what it hits. It does damage, but it's a little bit harder to get like the epicenter of a blob with it. In my experience, I'm just not a huge fan of it. But yeah, generally still got over 1,000 value. Pretty damn good. So yeah, well played to my opponent. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this one. Now let's go ahead and take a look at a Beastman army. Let's just do some theory crafting. That'll be fun. So let's jump on over. Honestly, though, I haven't played Beastmen in quite some time against Dwarves, but they used to actually be favored in that matchup. But the mass changes have made it better, and I think it's a pretty even matchup nowadays. So yeah, I do think Morkur is probably one of the better choices here. Just get him with the Staff of Ruinous Corruption, and you're living your best life. As far as magic, I do think Pendulum is really good. You can go for Wild as well if you want to do like Bray Scream, but get a Chariot character here. You can do Melkos, it's not that good. Neither is Enfeebling Foe. Honestly, Pendulum is like always going to be good against Dwarves, so you could just bring that to min-max and kind of save money. And aside from that, if you want to get really crazy, you could even go Bray Shame and a Manticore summoning. So you go like not Wild, but where is that shit? Come on, there you go. There's Shadows, there's Beasts. Yeah, so you could do this. That gives you 2 Chariot characters, which are pretty damn obnoxious for Dwarves to deal with. So what you could do is you could go for like a Manticore summon. So you get 2 Manticore summons. You have 2 of the Jagged Daggers for extra Winds of Magic. They're not that expensive. And now, yeah, I do like the Bestigors. I thought that was a good choice. I also thought my opponent had the right idea about the Ungor battle line. You go shields or no shields. We'll go ahead and build out the rest of the army first. But Razorgores are really obnoxious. Harpies, get a couple of these guys, and then basically you just fill out your army with like some chaff units or whatever. A little bit tight here. I'm trying to think. We do need the 2 Harpies. There are no Raiders in this army too. Let's go ahead and get rid of this. So maybe the double Chariot character is really good against Dwarves, though. It's so annoying. They are big targets, though, for sure, but you have a Manticore summon to dive in. Maybe just one Razor Gore Chariot will do the trick, and then from there you can get a couple Raiders. I did like the Raiders a lot. I thought they were quite nice, just like poking into my units the entire time. It was a beaut. It was a beaut for sure. But yeah, Razor Gore Herds can do some big work for sure against like Dwarf Warriors. They run over like minor infantry in a matter of seconds. It's really good. I don't know, maybe something like this. You can spend the gold, obviously, in a multitude of ways. You get Foe Seeker if you want, whatever. But yeah, something like this could be strong. Give it a try. I don't know. I haven't played Beastmen in a while. My opponent may know Beastmen better than myself. So anyways, guys, thanks for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed. Well played to the Butcher Bird, and we'll see you guys on the other side. Take care.